in the end ultimately. However, I do not know how the game goes, so this is going to be as much of a adventure for you as it is for me. As in the left, starting in the blue side, we have RNG, and on the right we have SN Suning Gaming, of course. RNG and Suning both starting out 1-0 is in the first week of competition. Xiao Hu, great story that we're going to get into as soon as we finish with picks and bans. On the side of RNG, has picked Kaisa for the first pick for RNG. RNG, of course, banning out the Renekton, Camille, and Zoe, while Suning banning out many, mostly flex picks, the Akali, the Gragas, and the Jace Akali. A very interesting ban there on the side of Suning. Of course, Angel getting a lot of notoriety from the Akali pick, which he used to counter the Syndra picks in World. Syndra, of course, a champion that is still up and that can still most definitely be played, as in the first round of drafting we have Kaisa, Pantheon, and Orianna from the side of RNG, and in response we have an Aatrox first pick there for Bin, as well as an Olaf and an Aphelios there for Huanfeng. Very interesting. This is the second series in a row where they have opted to give Aatrox first pick to Bin in the first round, really not hiding what he's going to be getting. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Cannon ban here, as that's what they usually go towards, the Jace and the Cannon bans when it comes to picking the Aatrox. On the side of RNG, they banned away the Thresh, of course. Thresh Aphelios. Thresh is the go-to support for Aphelios, providing lots of safety, providing lots of peel with his Flay, as of course also providing some initiation with the Flay, flashing in and Flay, as well as the hook. The box, of course, great disengage, as well as the Lantern. Lantern, one of the greatest means of escape ever, aside from maybe Bard Portal. As Suning, after the bans, turning over to RNG banning the Twisted Fate, not wanting Angel to impact the map and to get his lanes ahead. Of course, he probably will be looking at Bin in the top side, one of the key carries of his team. On the side of Suning, fourth picking a Victor here to go up against Orianna. Victor, of course, might lose out to Orianna in the beginning in terms of pushing. However, once he upgrades his E, he'll be able to push back just as much. And once he gets to his 2-item power spike is when Suning will be able to activate themselves and really start playing the game. On the side of RNG there, a Leona lock in followed by a Rise, hover into a Rise, lock in there. What I expect it to be for Xiaohu, because Xiaohu, which is the story we're about to get into as soon as we see what this last pick is, as Ornn is hovered by on here, and perhaps not looking to hover a Galio. Probably looking for a disengaged support here to protect their Aphelios from the likes of the Pantheon and the Leona, who might try to jump in on to the Aphelios. And Galio is the champion that they settle on. Tons of disengage, of course, and being able to give bot lane priority to the side of Suning with his passive as well as his Q. As expected, the Rise going into the top lane there. Xiaohu, of course, for those of you who don't know, has been RNG's mid laner for perhaps about 5 to 7 years. I think it might be closer to 5 years. And in this season has opted, for the sake of his team, to shift towards the top lane and open up the mid lane to Cryan, which we see there on the Orianna. Never mind. As Suning, I'm just gonna give them like 6 more seconds to figure out what their roster is. Anyway, for the side of RNG, Suning, very, very expected. Every player going where it's supposed to go, and it seems that it's a lock in there. It's an Orianna top, which is very fascinating because again, Xiaohu has been playing mid for the longest time. So now he's moved to the top lane. I think the Rise pick was great because Rise is a top laner, and he's also a mage, which Xiaohu would have plenty of experience on with all the experience he's had in the previous years playing mages. But now he's playing Orianna, which is basically a mage too, honestly, in the top lane against Aatrox. I have not really much of an idea how this matchup goes, as I think there's there's a lot of this is quite exciting. This is a very exciting match, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, as Xiaohu bringing the Orianna top against Bin. Honestly, he's going to have the early push in the mid lane. We're also going to have the early push on the side of, oh wait, no, it's a Rise mid now. Okay, right. So in the bottom lane, we're going to have early push advantage going over to the side of Huanfeng and on. So Suning is going to have early priority in the bottom lane. Victor is probably not going to have too much of a hard time getting mid lane priority now that it's a Rise, considering that Rise also spends a lot of mana to push waves. So Victor might not have the damage output. However, Rise just doesn't really have the mana pool in the beginning to really push out waves and then be useful in the straight up fights. So I think Suning have two pushing lanes here, and then they have been in the top side who probably will get pushed in by Xiaohu. As we go into level 1, 40 seconds into the game, and already a cleanse is used by Huanfeng, who was jumped on by the Pantheon. Very aggressive early invades there on the side of RNG, chunking Huanfeng to half HP on putting his ward into the blue buff, probably backing now to get his sweeper. Meanwhile, trying to invade and Olaf is a very fierce, very aggressive posture already as SOFM dancing in the mid lane, showing himself off to Cryan, not even concerned in the slightest about a red side invade and knowing that his blue buff is not currently being invaded, as RNG with a bit of initial pressure, dropping a couple of wards and forcing out a cleanse from the bottom side, which Wei can now use his Pantheon to abuse and to take advantage of as we begin as the game starts. I probably think we're going to see SOFM focus now onto the bottom side of the map. Of course, Bin in his matchup. If you get him a little bit ahead, he might be able to take over the game and take over and just destroy Xiaohu. However, I believe bottom side is the focus that he will go for. Meanwhile, on the other side, Wei here can opt to focus on to his top side and his mid side, I feel, as getting them ahead will probably be very beneficial to his team. The thing about Suning though is that they are perfectly fine with giving up 2 to 3 dragons. If they can secure one of the first 2 dragons, it's already a big win for them because their team comp scales incredibly well into the late game. Looking at RNG's team comp, so does theirs. One might argue, however, a bit of initial aggression going on in the bot lane as Aftershock is propped by On and he immediately backs out. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, thing is that Suning wants to scale, wants the game to go as long as it needs because they have the tanks of the Aatrox and the Olaf with tons of sustain with the God Drinker, 2 huge God Drinker abusers, as well as the peel and the supportive utility that On provides on his Galio. However, so they have a front line and they have a perfect front-to-back teamfighting composition, while RNG don't have a front line and instead opted for the double mage combo. So see, Wei will definitely want to get some advantages on top side as On is engaged on by Ming, uses proxies Aftershock with his Justice Punch, is ignited and waltzes out of the fight, while Huanfeng providing cover fire as Bin, a wave is being built up towards the top side. He's in prime diving position, runs away from the tower, gets jumped on by Wei, now having no choice but to walk away from Wei as Wei does tons of damage with his abilities. Been using his passive trying to sustain up, Wei looking for the kill, however backs off in the last moment. His E no longer able to tank towers is probably one of the, actually no, his E is already used as Wei decided he has probably denied enough from Bin, given Xiaohu enough of an advantage, and already Xiaohu using his range advantage to procure himself a 10 CS lead and half of a tower plating as Bin teleports fearlessly back to the lane. Meanwhile, the bot side of RNG trying to secure Scuttle Crab, however, SOFM showing himself chasing them away from the Scuttle Crab as Wei secures the topside Scuttle Crab. Whoa, that W from SOFM nearly stealing, that W from Gala nearly stealing away the Scuttle Crab from right beneath SOFM's nose. So again, the plan for these two teams is very simple. SN wants to scale, give out maybe 2 dragons and hopefully secure one if they can. That's just like a very, very nice position for them to be in. 1 dragon over SN would be huge for them. However, they really don't care if they lose the first 2. They just want to scale up. Meanwhile, on the side of RNG, they want to accelerate the lane through these solo laners and really get the game going, start snowballing things. And in the current state, Xiaohu really not doing a bad job at all, harassing Bin whenever he can with his auto attacks and his passive, of course, being huge. Ming and Wei now grouping up together to get some wards out. Wei finishing up his Raptor camp while Olaf hitting up to the top side is SOFM with his Ghost up. Xiaohu with not much mana, however, with his flash is probably perfectly safe in this, probably being forced to use his flash, however, if he wants to escape this, and he does in the perfect timing, proccing his phase rush to run away. TP still available for the side of Xiaohu, however, if he's not careful, Bin and SOFM with the wave that they have might threaten to dive him should he immediately start channeling his teleport. So he waits a few moments and eventually channels his teleport, as in the bottom lane, Huanfeng and On with their range advantage as well as AoE advantage, getting priority in their lane, just pushing it in and waiting for the next wave, as Dragon has indeed spawned in the last 10 seconds with Wei running towards the bottom side to see if he can help to secure it. Funny thing is that RNG probably want to begin snowballing dragons. The only thing is that SN have the pushing bottom lane. That being said, having a pushing bottom lane also leaves you in the side of SN quite vulnerable to getting ganked, as on walking past a ward puts a ward in the bush outside of Raptors, and with that waltzes back to lane, being spotted by the ward twice there. On the side of RNG, they're probably fully aware of there being a ward near the Raptor camp as Wei skirts the edges looking to play around the top side as SOFM comes down to the bottom lane. Justice Punch landed by On as he forces the flash out from Ming, but Gala with his flash and with his heal opts to run in towards the lane and gets shut down by Huanfeng. SOFM probably looking to secure the dragon as the ward at Raptors on the red side has spotted out away, stealing away, counter jungling away SOFM's Raptors. SOFM more than happy to trade Raptors for this camp, and as I've said, SOFM probably the side of Suning as a whole probably very happy with what's happening here. That being said, RNG looking to dive the top lane as Bin is continuously being shown too much love and attention. Bin with his flash will most definitely have to use it in order to survive this, and even so he might not survive. That being said, the nerf to Pantheon with the E that cannot tank towers is probably partially one of the reasons why Bin has managed to survive that fight. Now, again, on the side of SN, I bet you they're very happy with this. That being said, of course, being denied so much is not so good, but they're really happy with this because they've gotten the dragon. They can now stall for at least 5 more minutes. Now the question is whether they can stem the bleeding that is their top side, with Bin getting tons of attention this game, pretty much every gank going in his direction as Angel teleporting into the Tribush, SFM using Ragnarok to cleanse the stun, running straight for Xiaohu, which he knows does not have his flash. However, Xiaohu managing to cover the distance to his tower fast enough as last moment, also proccing Phase Rush to cover that distance even further, as On just holding the mid wave initially and then now running back to his bottom lane as Aphelios does require quite a bit of attention. He is in perpetual danger of getting dove, especially the Leona walking up so aggressively. Ming without his flash, however, will not be able to close the distance in time as On, using his Justice Punch to close the distance between him and bottom tower, finally arrives to ensure the safety of his support. And alas, that is the thing about Aphelios that was one of the reasons he wasn't really picked last year, was that he requires a lot of attention. You really need your support to be around you in order to ensure you're safe, because if you're ever put in a 1v2 situation, you will 100% be doven, and there's just really nothing much to be said aside from that. Now, with Aphelios being more meta, support players are kind of left to be stuck in the lane, not really roaming towards the top side any more than they were in the last season. As Angel now, 72 CS, about equal, getting about ready to level up his E now and be able to get some push advantage into Cryin. Cryin, of course, now building up his mana pool with his tier as well as his Sapphire Crystal, will also be in a good position to begin clearing out the waves with much more ease. And so far, a 1-kill game, 8 minutes into the game with Rift Herald spawning already. However, both teams not really showing, neither team actually really showing much of a preference or attention towards that, as SOFM moving aggressively into the tri-bush clears out the pink ward, not knowing, unbeknownst to him, that Wei was just a bush away, channeling his recall, probably looking to walk towards the top side. Of course, the priority advantage going over to the side of the RNG top and mid laner will probably result in a very free Rift Herald. Rift Herald, though, it has been warded by Bin using his trinket. SOFM there also recalling, looking to perhaps contest for this Rift Herald. By the looks of it, On is also moving into position while Huanfeng rolls back to lane, while Ming and Gala are not rotating at all, which means that if Ming does not back, Huanfeng could be in danger of getting dove in here by 1v2, but by now we see Ming channeling his back as SYFM attempting again to alleviate some pressure on the top side map, just showing his face so that Bin can freely pick up that CS. Bin being having almost 2 times less CS than Xiaohu is really getting punished hard by this Orianna pick. And Xiaohu very much comfortable in the position that he's in, with his mid laner in the top lane. Is just really pretty much having the time of his life, being able to free farm, having tons of sustain with his corrupting potions, and if I'm not mistaken, probably time warp tonic as well, as Wei jumps into the bush, waiting to find SOFM in the area as Crying moves up to secure a Scuttle Crab for Wei, and Ming has also arrived at the party. However, Ming, seeing that On was on the bottom side, is looking to make his way down, and stops into the mid lane to ensure that there is no gank, as they have no vision at all in the bottom side river. Two pink wards in the area have given Suning the superior advantage in terms of vision, as Kryan runs into Rift Herald and begins up with Wei. Suning, of course, not looking to contest this at all, only looking to stall it as much as they can. And honestly, at this point, I feel like they've done a fantastic job, as there will be, I mean, they didn't manage to stall out a disaster, as SOFM swings his last auto attack, which just happens to be enough to take away the blue buff from his own mid laner. However, I'm sure, well, SOFM wouldn't be too bothered by that. Angel, I bet you, is not particularly happy with that little exchange, as Crying now running up into the top side, looking to again dive Bin or pop the Rift Herald with Wei. Now walking back towards mid lane as he sees Bin backing off. Bin obviously in the loop on the regarding the danger that he is in if he chooses to stay on the tower, as the game is kind of being accelerated here by RNG. They're doing exactly as they're supposed to do. They're doing a fantastic job, as it is just playing towards their range advantage side, as Xiaohu does manage to get that last auto attack off, of course with the mage attack speed. Bin now able to pick up the Rift Herald, an additional 25 gold, as SOFM posturing towards mid side, looking to secure the second dragon of the game. By the looks of it now, RNG's win condition will not involve dragon at all, because Suning have now gotten their second dragon. And even though dragon stacking isn't really the purpose of Suning's team composition, I bet you they are fantastically happy with having that. Looking at the item disparity in the top side, while Bin has managed to do a fantastic job clawing back to nearly 30 CS to only the CS lead is still the CS deficiency is still kind of same at 30. However, the item disparity is massive, as we see he only has a completed Mercury Threads and finally gets his Iron Spike Whip. However, on the other side, we see a needlessly large rod and I don't know what's called anymore, and a mana book, as well as a tier and a sorcery shoes on the side of Xiaohu, just stocking up on every which AP item he can, going towards his Ludens and Seraph's Embrace combo. And honestly, really very, very, very much on the way towards those items. Much more, in fact, by the looks of it, than Angel, due to the all 5 platings going into a Xiaohu. Xiaohu is quite a bit further ahead in terms of items than Angel is, who's now only just about going to complete his... as a fight coming out, Wei being chunked out by Angel, who drops the Chaos Storm on him, as well as every other ability he have. However, with the long cooldowns that Victor does have in the early and mid game, thankfully Wei doesn't receive that much damage. There's no dragon here to be contested, as SOFM attempts to steal away the Raptors. A setup there from the E and Q of Crying allows SOFM to claim most of those small Raptors with a single undertow, as Angel, walking up aggressively, knowing fully well that he has Bin and he has SOFM around him to guard him, picks up a plaything which will help him towards his Luden's Echo. Bin now seeing that there is no hope in the 1v1 in the top side, walking down to help his team, to help SOFM secure the red buff. Seeing now that Xiaohu is pressuring the top side, is running back towards the top side with the help of SOFM and Angel. Crying though, watching and noticing, observing that there is a great migration walking up towards the top side, has probably won Xiaohu. Xiaohu now still opting to stay around and get damage on the tower. Will he be punished for his greed, as he uses his ball to zone Bin from the jungle entrance? Xiaohu in a terrible position, no Zonias, gets knocked up by the first Q, however dodges every other Q, uses ultimate. Olaf cleansing the ultimate with Ragnarok, as they opt to give this kill over to Bin, who has most definitely deserved this kill, getting so much attention and pressure off of the map for the rest of Suning. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, CS is looking almost exactly identical for Gala and Huanfeng, while Ming and On also looking to be almost exactly identical in terms of items as well as levels. And in all, I would say that Suning is in a very, very comfortable position. They have managed to maintain most of their base, only losing one tower. Bin has gotten some help now that Huanfeng and On are getting to be quite independent, as Leona jumping in onto SOFM, knowing that he doesn't have his Ragnarok, getting tons of damage on. Gala jumping in with his praise seeking, with his ultimate, and getting 2 kills. As just as I say that Suning is in a fantastic position, the entirety of RNG descending down upon the bottom lane and jungler of Suning, catching them out in the tribush. And a beautiful engage there by Ming. I thought he might have been overstepping his bounds slightly. However, I guess he knows his team and his champions and their limitations better than I do. As Gala looking to secure the tier 3 bot lane tower, the most outer turret of the bottom lane, goes towards him at 15 minutes into the game, with Dragon spawning in a minute and a half, as well as Rift Herald coming up in perhaps a minute, about 3.5 minutes from now. RNG now looking to be in a pretty decent spot. However, that being said, Suning is in not such a bad spot either, as again, they are holding on to most of their base. They are getting CS and items onto their two main carries, the Victor and the Aphelios, as we see from the player goal. Despite all things considered, SFM is a hit as Ming gets caught out by the undertow and the taunt and the chilling smite of the Olaf as a TP coming in from Bin coming into the backlines, looking to be in between the entirety of the team as Bin gets caught out again. However, Bin is taken down by the damage of the Orianna ulti as well as the Kai'Sa as a flash in from Xiaohu. Xiaohu already using his ultimate onto Bin, however, chunking out Angel with a final Q. Angel in a very, very, very precarious health total, gets pushed out of the fight. Meanwhile, On and Huanfeng trying to defend their mid lane. That being said, RNG with the man advantage as well as the man being all three of their carries manages to dissuade Suning from defending their final outer turret, which is taken in turn. Dragon coming out in 20 seconds. RNG seemingly in a fantastic position to start it up as well as take it, not wanting to give Suning every single dragon, as one of the possible win conditions Suning has is to get the Elder Dragon, which is something that you definitely want to dissuade if you are Suning, if you are RNG. That being said, Rift Herald actually has already spawned. Rift Herald's already spawned. I suppose I wasn't watching the timer well enough. And Suning, knowing that RNG is likely going for the dragon, opt to position around the Rift Herald, however have yet to start it as they're looking to get mid lane priority. A little bit of a scuffle as the multitude of pings are going down in the mid lane. RNG, having yet to back, is probably not looking to contest this. That being said, Wei is the only person backing, and Wei does have his ultimate, which can help him fly in to secure this Rift Herald. That being said, RNG looking to walk away and give up the second Rift Herald towards the side of Suning Gaming. Of course, this is probably because they know Suning Gaming will have a hard time using this Rift Herald, seeing as to how their lanes are perpetually pushed into them, with Xiaohu with the wave exploding powers of Xiaohu and Crying on their respective Oriannas and Ryze picks. Now, as the objectives on the map are finished, as there are no longer any objectives on the map, I expect both teams to get back to a little bit of farming, as well as pick looking on the side of RNG, looking to make picks and accelerate the game, perhaps get a tower, maybe even break a tier 2 tower before Baron spawns, though those are quite lofty ambitions if you ask me, because Suning's defense is looking to be quite solid for a little while at least. Huanfeng now, with 193 CS, has finished his Kraken Slayer, as every single champion on the map, with the exception of the two supports on both sides, have finished their mythic items and are now working steadily towards their second item, with it being... Actually, Xiaohu has yet to finish his mythic item, opting instead to finish his Seraph's first item, probably because the gold total fitted that amount as on. Looking as she managing to push away two members of RNG, but that's because Bin is hovering above him, threatening to join the fight. And of course, two supports fighting off against each other might be quite even. However, a jungler will most likely not be able to fight a top laner, which is what Bin is. Bin now, the CS lead between Bin and Xiaohu growing now to about a 45 CS lead, which is massive, as Huanfeng is tagged by the Prey Seeker from the Kai'Sa over the wall. However, with the lifesteal that he has in his kit, along with the Doran's Blade, Omnivamp will be able to secure the healing he needs to basically shrug off all the damage, as Crying gets some damage onto the bottom lane tier 2. On the side of RNG, looking to make plays around the mid and bottom lane, as a lot of pings are going down and vision is being established in both between the mid and bottom lanes, as well as in the jungle of SN. Bin on the top side without his teleport. Xiaohu also without his teleport is walking up to answer this little push. Xiaohu will definitely have his teleport much sooner than Bin will. Bin will most likely have to back off after this, as Dragon is spawning in 2 minutes and Baron is about to spawn in about 5 seconds now. as both teams looking to reset. Ming gets vision in the top side of Suning's jungle now, with him as well clearing the rest of the jungle. Xiaohu pushing out the top side lap as every member of RNG is now in the top half of the map, and pings towards Barons are being made as Wei using his ultimate to close the distance, and that is the extent to which RNG want to rush down this Baron. As soon as it spawns, they send Pantheon into the pit with his ultimate. Suning seemingly not even conscious of the fact that it might be a possibility. SOFM will not be able to steal this because he does not have flash, opting instead for the Ghost to be able to run at his enemies. And I suppose the damage from the Rise as well as the Pantheon, and perhaps to a lesser extent the Orianna, is enough for them to rush down the Baron. Suning there getting a little bit of a shock as they opt to continue farming. RNG now looking to reset and group together as 5 to push down one of these turrets, perhaps even get 2 lanes pushing, as their bottom side is, I think, developing a little bit of a wave in their favor. That being said, Suning is probably sending their solo laners to the side lanes in order to clear out those minion waves and buy themselves some time, as Ming and Gala walking towards the bottom side with Wei. Bottom side jungle, perhaps with Wei. Gala now opting to secure more mid priority, as Dragon is now spawning in the 40-second mark. SOFM now looking to secure this blue buff well and truly for Angel. However, Wei in the area means that SOFM is forced to smite it away, and while Wei did not have his smite, the pressure was good enough so that they were allowed to force Angel off of the blue buff, which he would have much appreciated in terms of the ability haste, ability power, as well as the mana, as SOFM is tagged by the Q, gets hit by the ultimate, uses Ragnarok in the last moment. Ming jumping into the fight, Gala using his ultimate also to jump into auto attack range, as the Orianna ultimate coming out, pulling on into the fight again. However, that last bit of damage is not enough to bring the gargoyle down, as Dragon will most definitely go over to the side of RNG. There's no way Suning managed to steal this, as Xiaohu now pushing out the bottom lane, and tier 2 mid tower as well being threatened by RNG. RNG here with their initial little bit of aggression, looking to pick off members of Suning the moment they overstep ever so slightly, as Xiaohu still maintaining his bottom lane push while the rest of his team maintain the mid lane push, now looking to kite back towards Dragon, with SOFM respawning from the little catch that they did there in the jungle. In the meantime, RNG making a quick stop to steal away the rest of Suning's jungle, as they handedly secured the second win streak of the game and 4th dragon in total. Quick reset here by 2 members of RNG, as Suning on the other side here, a beautiful ultimate into another stun into a Leona E, and SOFM using his ultimate way too late, trying to save it for as long as he can. Xiaohu nearly picking up another kill here on. Oh my god, on. As Suning now in not much worse position than they would prefer to be in, of course. However, again, that being said, they are a front-to-back team fighting team. However, the only problem with my previous statement, which still holds true by the way, is that the tanks that I previously alluded to from the likes of Bin and SOFM have not really been able to tank much, given that they've had a pretty lackluster, and in terms of Bin, a pretty abusive early game. That being said, it's also quite hard to sustain off of Xiaohu or Crime, because they will be kiting out of the fight away from your ranged damage. That being said, there's also Wei and Ming, who you can also lifesteal off of in the case that you are an Olaf or you are the Aatrox in question. As about 6k gold lead is now built here on the side of RNG, no small amount at all. Wei walking into a bush and getting a laser to the face from Angel, as the entirety of RNG setting up again in the top and mid jungle, between the top and mid side jungle of Suning's base. Suning side of the map, sorry. As SOFM walking very dangerously, nearly getting tagged again by Leona E. SOFM with his ultimate will probably look to use it immediately this time, as Solar Flare coming out, forcing out the Ragnarok from Olaf, as some damage is coming down from the side that had been popping his ultimate way, being chunked out by Huanfeng and Bin, but with his Guardian sustaining up to some of his HP, as a 5v5 nearly breaks out into top side of Suning's jungle over this red buff. Both teams looking to make picks on each other. Angel walking forward to try and get some harass down, misses his laser. And for now, both teams just posturing. RNG waiting for 1 minute and 45 seconds for the next Baron to spawn, have secured top side Suning jungle vision advantage, and also have managed to darken out pretty much the entirety of Suning's both sides of the jungle. That being said, a final pink ward in the river of Suning's towards Suning's side is getting cleared out right now. And by looks of it, Suning well and truly, aside from a Tribush ward on the bottom side, have no vision of their jungle in its entirety. As Xiaohu, seeing that Bin is up there, is looking to harass him slightly, however not looking to commit fully, as the gap close as well as the knockups from Bin can easily turn fights away into Bin's favor. Now, Baron spawning in a minute. Expect to see RNG position for it and prepare to take it the instant it spawns, especially if they see Suning Gaming out of position. Suning will have to prep for this. Angel already pushing out the bottom wave in order to get some priority, now running towards the top side to do the exact same as the bottom lane of Suning resets in preparation for this Baron, which is spawning in 43 seconds time. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep talking about this Baron because this Baron is indeed going to be the point. This is going to be the point of the game where Suning can look to turn things around. You see the two Suning, their two carries with their two items and their two tanky bruisers almost completing their Spirit Visages. Once they complete those Spirit Visages, if they can do it in time, once they complete those Spirit Visages, they will help them a lot. Of course, with the Galio Ultimate also coming in, providing that little spell shield, I think Suning will be in a fantastic position to take fights. However, not having those Spirit Visages can be quite a big problem. As Baron is about to spawn in 5 seconds. Both teams throwing abilities at each other in order to harass each other. Solar Flag coming out, tagging SOFM, slightly SOFM, getting tagged by the Leona E, uses his ultimate, however, the damage coming out from the backline of RNG is just too much as Xiaohu's ultimate rips across the entire team, allowing Gala to close the distance with his own ultimate, tearing RNG, SN to shreds as Kryan enters the fight, stun coming in from Wei, overstepping slightly, getting stunned under the tower by the gravity field, and Bin jumping with his knock-ups. Angel also providing the backline damage as necessary as SN hold on, flash in from Angel, forcing a flash there from Crying as both the mid laners now know each other's flashes are not up. Angel playing a dangerous game as Ming catching him with a CC, allowing Xiaohu and Crying to close the distance would lead to Angel's for certain death. That being said, a beautiful play there being on both the side of Xiaohu and Bin, the top laners for both teams making plays. As we dissect this fight further, a nab there, Bin tanking up, SFM tanking up as much damage as he can as Xiaohu lands a 3-man ultimate, allowing Gala to jump in, finishing off Huan Feng, using his Zonius to dodge On's Justice Punch, however, On is finished off by Xiaohu, and Wei going slightly too deep there for Angel. Bin seeing an opportunity, seeing the positioning, looking at the low health points of the side of RNG, using his knockups, using his chains to lock up Gala under tower as well as Wei, and allowing Angel to finish off both of the champions as the third win streak of the game, and fifth streak overall goes towards, oh my goodness, I wasn't even watching the screen, as On is caught out by the extremely picky squad of RNG and exterminated, turned to dust and stone in front of his team's very eyes, as Baron is being chunked out so incredibly fast with the damage of the Kai'Sa and the Rise, as well as Orianna being stalling SOFM long enough for the rest of his team to finish off Baron, as Solar Flag coming out, tagging Angel, tagging SOFM, as Ming jumping forward with the ultimate, Gala jumping in as well, gets a Chaos Storm thrown onto him, which stymies the rest of his aggression as Wei jumping in, stunning Bin. Wei quite tanky in the front, especially with his E, as Gravity Field comes out, splitting up the members of RNG. Both teams happy with what they got. RNG much happier, of course, to have emerged with the Baron buff. Again, a relatively uncontested Baron buff, as the damage coming in from RNG side is just incredible in terms of their ability to take objectives. 54k, 54.9 gold. Gold over as SOFM is in a terrible position. Gala using his E to close the distance on, forced to use his taunt in order to save his jungler, and successfully does, using his taunt, using his Justice Punch to get out on a fantastic disengage there on his side, as his first Spirit Visage between the two quote-unquote bruiser tanks has been completed by Bin. SOFM now backing has also secured the second Spirit Visage of the game, and if this continues, ladies and gentlemen, if SN can just hold on a little bit longer, if they can hold on this, if they can not let this push bust open the entirety of their base, they will be in a phenomenal position, as both of their bruiser tanks just get tankier and tankier, and since most of the damage coming in from the side of RNG is AP-esque, except for the ones coming from Gala doing tons of damage, of course. This split damage profile, of course, very hard to itemize against, because if you build too much magic resist, Gala will rip you to shreds faster than you can expect. And of course, the fact that Orianna can go beyond your front line to pull in your backline towards your front line is also a huge danger, as well as the damage that Ryze can do, which he can also bounce spells off of his front line. So far, Suning doing what they can to hold on to their mid wave. Meanwhile, crying on the rise as well as away on the Pantheon, pushing out the bottom side of the map. A 0-3-2 split push here ensues, with Vision being the main goal of RNG. 2 pink wards placed on either sides of the gate, leaving the bottom side of the map for Suning, as Bin trying to farm as much of the way, trying to protect as much of the tower as he can. Huanfeng using his ultimate to bind out Orianna as well as Kai'Sa. However, the ultimate coming in for Orianna, pulling the team together. Huanfeng forced to use his Zhonya's force to flash out, as Crying is now using his E's and his Q's to clear out the wave. And a 1-for-1 ensues yet again, with Ming being the sacrificial lamb as always. However, this time on, also dying for his team, as teleport is coming in from the side of Xiaohu to secure this bottom lane tower as well as inhibitor. And SN are looking to be in quite a low position, while RNG looking to secure the game, honestly. While they can go into the mid lane, secure 2 inhibitors, Wei jumping in, letting his team do the damage onto SOFM, taking a lot of damage back in return. Bin now half HP, not wanting to run back into the fountain, as SN with on up now is a 5v4 situation. If they can just get someone in there and let on use his ultimate on them, they would be in a fantastic position. However, RNG, after taking 1 Nexus Tower up to actually secure the mid lane inhibitor and back off, Suning in a position for sure that is quite uncomfortable, I would imagine. However, not in a completely unwinnable and hopeless situation, considering the fact that they now have 2 lanes of minions that will be endlessly streaming towards them. RNG, of course, not even at soul point just yet, but in the next minute, they will probably be in a very comfortable position. Suning, in fact, is the team on soul point as it is, and I bet this is they're just happy that they managed to stall out the game with the 3 dragons that they have managed to sneak away from RNG. Bin now farming the wolves, not unbeknownst to him, however, is over the wall is Ming, is Xiaohu, is Wei, as Bin slides over the wall, not knowing how close he was to facing death. Ming today with the engages has been doing an exceptional job. He has of course been dying a lot due to the engages that he's pulled off. However, that is unfortunately part and parcel of his job. He's just meant to get the good engages and protect his carries, and he has at the very minimum done that. And he's definitely been a fantastic Leona pick for this game. 0-3 and 10. Looking at the shutdowns on the side, available on the side of RNG, pretty much every member, with the exception of Wei and Ming, is worth more gold than the 300 gold that is allotted to the champions, as the Windrake is slowly but surely taken there by the side of RNG. 33 minutes into the game, 17 kills down, 6 dragons, 2 barons, and 2 rift heralds. The neutral objective blood that has been spilt on this map is quite immense. And if the world of Runeterra ever had a conservationist, they would not be very happy with this game, ladies and gentlemen. Neither would they be very happy neither would the pacifists of Runeterra be very happy, I suppose, if considering we are in the LPL, as a ultimate coming in from the rise, throwing Xiaohu and Ming into the backline, managing to grab Huanfeng, but Huanfeng now trading back kill back and having his Guardian Angel proc is jumped on by Wei. Wei in the backline just soloing out Huanfeng, who is killed eventually by the damage of Crying, who is himself taken down. Gala now with barely a shred of health points left. And just like that, RNG pulled the trigger, sending Xiaohu and Ming into the backline, trying to jump on Ophidios, who was only 1 step. He was an inch out of position. And they just decided to take the mile that was behind him, as Gala and Wei move instantly to take this Baron. 3rd Baron going down in the exact same fashion that the first 2 did. The instant it spawns, it spawned into a world of war and anguish and death, honestly, as it's most definitely going to be taken there. No hope of a contest again by the side of Suning. RNG having fantastic Baron timing in this game, managing to take every single Baron and pretty much in an uncontested fashion, as Gala waiting for as long as he can without dying to give as many members of his team the Baron buff as possible. Of course, if possible, we would like to wait 2 seconds. As look at this, a beautiful 2-man ultimate. SOFM was waiting for them there. They just ignore him and go straight for Huanfeng. But the on ultimate coming in, helping to disengage the fight as Gala in the backline is being jumped on by 3 members, having his Guardian Angel popped as well, as a huge clump ensues, which is exactly where Cry wants to have his fight, as Gala flashing in to finish off Angel, nearly getting killed by the Death Ray. Gala now at 3/4 health points, not looking to do much but lifesteal off of the minion wave. And I hate to say it, boys, but Suning, if they can hold on, they're doing better and better and better, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold on past this, because RNG have just been methodical with the way they're using their Baron buffs, as a Solar Flare coming out from Ming, again forcing out SOFM's ultimate, and I'm pretty sure that's a very, very worthwhile deal on the side of RNG. Ming's ultimate will be back in under a minute, while SOFM's ultimate is going to take a little bit longer than that, and in that little moment of time, Ming can look to catch out SOFM yet again, going against what some would argue to be conventional wisdom, and going for the person with CC with basically a cleanse, honestly. What's up? With basically a cleanse, honestly, which goes against conventional wisdom. Pretty much RNG now in position to take out the one of the last 2 towers in the game, has been jumping over the wall onto Ming again. Everyone's just initiating on the tanks this game. It goes against conventional wisdom. Solar Flag coming out again. Ming landing in the middle of the entirety of RNG, as Wei jumps in also in the middle of Suning, and just every member of RNG just taking turns to jump into the middle of Suning. Of course, 2 of 3 of members who've tried to have paid with their lives. Wei now jumping in to secure the kills, been trying to be the hero, trying to take out Crying, and pulls Crying on the tower, actually keeping the game alive for a little longer. Suning working against every expectation, as Angel teleporting in to try and catch out Wei, however noticing that the bot lane inhibitor is in danger, opts instead to secure that. And RNG there, Ming, I just said that he had some great engages, however going way too deep there onto Bin, which brought him into the midst of 5 members of Suning Gaming, and they just tear into him. And as soon as they tear into him, Wei jumps in and gets torn into also, however he manages to leave with his E, while Gala then tags, and while leaving he tags Gala, who ults in to 5 people, gets damage forward, but just as we can see here, Ming looking to get his CC onto Bin, E lands onto SOFM instead, is brought into the backline as Wei jumps in, also gets torn up by the CC and damage of 5 people, as Gala jumping in, finishing SOFM, finishing off one father, getting finished off by Angel, who uses his Zhonya's to protect himself from the damage of Xiaohu, who gets baited and knocked up by On and destroyed, as Angel is in out of position and gets stunned by Wei. Follow up CC from the Solar Flare from Wing, but the Chaos Storm coming down is doing damage to Wei while Angel is being CC'd. Been teleporting in to save his mid laner to finish off the members of RNG. However, Wei with his Guardian Angel will live to fight another day, and will live to see the next fight as the 7th dragon of this immensely long, however incredibly entertaining game is taken by the side of RNG. We expect to see this. Honestly, the game is definitely going to go until the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The question is now, will Suning be in a position to fight for and defend this Baron? Because they have all their inhibs up now. They still have their 2 existing towers. Whew. On the side. Whoa. Is this... Whew. This is a long game. But you know what? We love these games because it for the past 15 minutes the game has been on a knife's edge. Could have gone either way. It is basically a coin that's been flipped and is spinning hit upon hit upon hit, as SOFM uses ultimate at the perfect timing, denying Xiaohu's ultimate. Xiaohu's ultimate also another way of catching people. Of course, with more items being built, Xiaohu's ultimate will, and with more CDR, Xiaohu is perfectly fine using his ultimate to catch out 1 or 2 members to get a bit of an advantage, because all RNG need is that little bit, and they'll be able to take Baron. And as you saw just now from them using the Rise ultimate incredibly aggressively, sending Ming and Xiaohu on what some would argue to be a suicide mission. If you give RNG an inch, they will take a mile, they will take 2 miles, they will take kilometers. In fact, they'll take any metric system worth of distance that you will give them as Gala at this point, just waiting for Baron to spawn, twiddling his thumbs, throwing out his W's, stealing away red buffs from the side of Suning. Suning actually haven't had their jungle for the longest time, so SOFM being able to getting SOFM not really being able to get many items now, considering he's behind as on Hex flashing into a bush, Crying getting caught out by Angel and on a beautiful trap, a malicious and maleficent trap being set on the side of Suning. And honestly, I think this means they'll be able to take Baron, not even just contest it, as Crying is dead for another 48 seconds and Baron is spawning in the next 23 seconds. The bot wave is pushed out now towards the side of RNG, been now collecting the top wave, and as long as they don't get engaged on here, as long as SOFM and most importantly Huanfeng do not get engaged upon here, they're in a fantastic position to take this. There is no way RNG can sneak into the base unless they just sprint down towards mid lane. Of course, that is a concern, as Suning could get their base just sprinted down upon, as SOFM using his ultimate, running in, taking tons of damage. He's not tanky at all in the face of Gala due to him only having a Spirit Visage. He has no armor whatsoever, and again, because his jungle continuously just gets taken, he has no way of getting items. Every wave is being taken by one of his carries, and RNG, seeing this, sensing weakness, go in for a 4v5 Baron steal, knowing that SOFM has not his ultimate, and the Baron with the abilities thrown at it does not manage to be stolen by the side of Suning. RNG, incredible Baron securing, as well as Baron management, just playing around Baron phenomenally in this game, as Gala just puts out so much damage, as does Xiaohu now, even with just his auto attacks. Next dragon spawning in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. This is the big dragon, ladies and gentlemen. This is for sure the nail. This both represents the last nail in Suning's coffin, as well as their last ounce of hope and redemption, as securing Elder Dragon will 100% allow them to win fights, which they've so far again been on the edge of a knife. It is a beautiful thing, this Elder Dragon, and they have honestly delayed it for as long as they could, taking 3 dragons themselves, forcing RNG pretty much at the 20-minute mark to begin stacking their own dragons. RNG playing very patiently, at the same time knowing when to flip the switch and go aggressive, as the second last tower of Suning's base is taken. Top inhibitor will soon be taken, and this, ladies and gentlemen, I think is the end. Now, how are you going to defend against an Elder take, which they only need 3 people to take, and them threatening to end the game straight out with the remainder of their team, because they do so much damage, as mid lane inhibitor is also taken out, and Suning is going to be forced 100% to defend this last inhibitor, for it might already be too late in my opinion. However, if there is a fight to be taken, it is a fight to be taken right now, as giving up this inhibitor will lead to nothing. Ming looking to be the proactive one, actually looking to engage upon Suning, saying, I don't want to wait for Elder Dragon, I just want to take the fight now. Bin lands the chains on to the mid laner, and the fight ensues. Tons of damage coming forth as On is taken out by Wei, flying in his way into SOFM. However, he lands into a gravity field, gets exploded. Thankfully, his Guardian Angel saving him for a second time, one of the greatest investment of this game for either team, and Wei manages to live to see another day, as his health bar was exploded, being exploded by the damage coming in from Crying, as Wei looking to finish him off with the Q, does not manage it. Crying jumping into Crying. Wow, Bin! And Bin being taken out. Huanfeng loading now into 4 members of RNG, seeing the weakness, seeing that they did not even need to wait for the Elder Dragon, and taking the fight from the side of Suning. I wouldn't say a decisive. Actually, it was a pretty decisive game. RNG was without a doubt in control of the entirety of the game. It is only through the grit of Suning, the grit of the entirety of the team, that Suning managed to hold on for as long as they did. And honestly, they were always at the verge, at the cusp of bringing the game back. However, RNG, not wanting to be ones to lose a lead they had for basically a 40-50 minute game, take it one step further, accelerate the pace at the end, and close out the game. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me in this incredibly long but incredibly exciting and entertaining game, and I hope to see you tomorrow for the next round for RNG versus SN Game 2. See ya!